Good afternoon, and welcome to another enraged version of Diatribes from the voice of Doom. Now here's your incensed and furious host, voice of Doom. Alright. I've been gone for a couple days after my very sad soliloquy on my pets, and I'm back, and I am pissed, more pissed than ever. I'm really getting tired of this, and I'm going to tell you why. I've been doing diatribes since July of 2021. And I've made it clear all through my diatribes that we have to get rid of this regime we have running this used to be country into the ground. And everybody can poo-poo me and give me a stare like you're so negative. This too shall pass. Let not your heart be troubled. And I said we're heading toward the abyss, we're heading toward doom, and everybody thinks I'm joking. Now everybody's seeing it. Now don't you dare start jumping on my bandwagon. Because you can talk about that all you want, and most of you are at ground zero. You're going to be incinerated. You're going to be vaporized. I'm really getting sick of this Petri dish. It was one thing to lambaste him and to lampoon him for his gaffes and his trips and his falls. But now I'm getting pissed, and I told you to get rid of him a long time ago. I said, during the Afghani debacle, I said, get rid of this guy, it's only going to get worse. Now, am I right or no? And these satanic acolytes that carry his water in bags, that say things that make me so pissed that I want to see karmic retribution, and I want to see it in living color. I really want to see it. I've lived a life where I've tried my best to not do any harm and to help when I can. And I can give you more accounts of what I've done, and I'm not going to blow my own horn because I haven't done anything. But I haven't done any harm. And my point is, I'm losing my train of thought, to quote Buddha Judge. But what I think I deserve, this is what I say, I did no harm. I think I deserve at least to see justice once in my lifetime. Is that too much to ask, to see justice just once? Because I've never seen it. I've seen elitist people take over our so-called government and get away with murder. And I'm talking literally get away with murder. I'm talking about lauding on one side of the tribal factions, America the Great, America for freedom, America for democracy. We are not even a fourth world country. We got to work our way up to that. We are a landmass covered with bacteria, and that's all we are. So don't you dare talk to me about democracy and talk to me about freedom and liberty. Nobody's doing a damn thing about this travesty that we call what used to be the government. They all gotta go. Now, are we gonna do it soon, or are we gonna be incinerated? I live in northern Nevada. I don't think that Reno is gonna be atomized, but there is a citadel nearby, probably 20 miles away from just this general area, which is a hub of the internet, one of 5 major hubs that pretty much take care of the transmission of information everywhere. And it's very complex, and I don't know much about it, but I know that it's very well guarded and very well protected by very high walls. You can't get in there. You can't just go sauntering in. It's a fortress, and it's some sort of a major hub for the internet. I'll say no more because I don't know anything. I'll tell you more about it later if we're around. So we could be a target, and there's probably all kinds of arsenals buried under the mountains all over Nevada because it's mostly owned by the feds. So we might be a target too, but I'm telling you, people in New York and Joy Behar and the rest of you can blame Orangey for everything that's happened in the last 2 years. Find some way to blame him. And I don't want to say this again. He deregulated some stuff. Did it have anything to do with carrying poison gases and ball bearings? Well, maybe it did. Then if it did, why didn't Petri dish change it back? Petri dish could say, one of my first executive orders is to re-regulate what Petri dish deregulated. But he didn't, did he? So if I hear one more word from that, I'm going to get pissed. Whatever network that View is on, I'll never, well, I don't watch any of that anyway. But I'll never watch anything on that network, ever. The only time I see this red-haired piece of crap is when they're lampooning her on Fox. Or on Odin's Men, or on Redacted, or on every other channel that hears what she says, her frickin' crap. Now let's get back to Petri dish, because she's nothing. She is nothing but a flower girl for a satanic wedding where Petri dish is the groom. Now, this guy goes to Ukraine and starts saying things like this. We're going to give you 1,000 missiles and we're going to make 100 tanks, and they're not made yet, but they'll be ready a year from now, so just keep this war going for a year. Here's $500 million. It's a down payment on what we're going to give you. We're going to give you unconditional support. Do you know what that means? Here's $500 million. There's no conditions on it. Do what you like. All right. And we're going to do it for as long as it takes. We're going to deplete the coffers of an empty treasure chest of what used to be the American Treasury, which has nothing in it but IOUs. And we're going to give it all to you because you are the last bastion before Madman Vlad goes blitzkrieging through Europe. It's such an easy thing for him to just take parts of Ukraine that after he takes over Ukraine, he's just going to plow through Poland, Bulgaria, and what have you, Slovenia, and then go westward and take France and Germany and England. Now, come on. Are we going to put up with this until we get incinerated? Or what? Is that his mission, Petri dishes? To destroy the planet? It's some sort of a cosmic thing he's got going with some evil entities in the universe? Yes, I'm going to go to this planet and it'll be destroyed. Okay. He said that the Ukrainians are a noble people that will fight to the last man. Now, if I was Ukrainian, I'd be going, wait a minute now, you're sending all these weapons over here and you say we'll fight to the last man. I mean, I don't know if they're sentient human beings over there. I guess they are. But if it was in America, let's say it's America and Mexico is a superpower and America is kind of a satellite of Mexico. And Mexico has a problem with Canada. And Canada is encroaching on the northern border of what used to be America, so Mexico says, the Americans are a noble people, they will fight to the last man against this encroachment by Canada. That's exactly what's happening, and would we want to listen to that? Come on, really getting a little miffed. Fight to the last man. There's no conditions on anything we give you. You can do anything you want with it. No conditions. You can sell the arms to Greece. You can sell the arms to Belarus. Sell the arms to people that are bombing you. Whatever. And you can keep the money and do what you like with it. You can buy a whole fleet of yachts and then have those in spare for later. And at the same time, as he's lauding, bestowing the titles of nobility on every citizen of Ukraine who is fighting gallantly for democracy, he vilifies us. Has he ever said anything nice about us? No. We're white supremacists. We're just racist. If we had our way, lynching would be back in style. We'd be wanting to lynch people just for the color of their skin. Now, this guy's not just insane, but he's got Alzheimer's. He's living in a past that he didn't even live in. Yes, they made postcards. Okay. Yes, they did things like that. Everybody's done everything to everybody. So, what difference does it make? You're the wrong color and you're in the wrong neighborhood and you're going to get killed. Okay. I'm not going to defend that, but for him to call us all white supremacists, and we can't wait to bring back lynching, and he's been talking about lynching more than once. So the guy's got a screw loose about that. And that pisses me off, and it makes me think that impeachment is not the proper procedure for what we should do with that guy. I'm talking drag, physically drag. Gaddafi comes to mind. I'll say no more about that. I just wanted to rant about that because I was going to do something a little more cerebral, and it's funny, I'll tell you something about this YouTube thing. These algorithms really can read your mind. They take what you choose, and somehow, I'm sure through alien technology, they manage to know what you're going to do next. Because I wanted to do this diatribe, and I didn't say anything about it, and I didn't look up anything about it. I just said, well, what if I compare the three leaders of World War II with the three leaders we have now? And you know, the whole Yalta thing, Potsdam, and then look at what we have now. And I didn't do anything, I didn't look anything up, and then suddenly I'm getting feeds on my YouTube with these three guys from Potsdam. Winston, you know, Churchill, Stalin, and Delano. So that was amazing because I never did anything about it, I just thought about it. And they sent that up out of the blue. And it really has nothing to do with much of what I've looked up lately anyway. So that's kind of amazing. I think it can read my mind, even when it's off. But Petri is, if I was going to compare him to any of the three or the leaders of World War II, I would say he's most like Schicklgruber, and I'll tell you why. Schicklgruber was stirring the pot before he took over Europe. He wanted the fascists to win in Spain, and he helped them militarily as a dry run. Same thing that Petri's doing. There's anecdotes about Petri going to the border and not ever talking to one immigrant and just pretending they're not there. And there's an anecdote about him kind of pretending that the people who are suffering in East Palestine aren't really there. And if they are there, it's Orangey's fault. And it reminds me of an anecdote about Schicklgruber, because he went to the Russian front to comfort the troops, and he had a photo op with these officers shaking his hand and smiling, and then he's on a train on the way back to Berlin, and it stops at a station, and all these wounded soldiers that are freezing to death. You see the pictures of how the Germans looked when they attacked Russia. They're frozen, their faces are falling off, they're wounded, they're losing their arms and legs, and they see their Fuhrer, and they're so happy that the Fuhrer's there. So they go running up, and the Fuhrer just grabs his window shade and brings it down at the train window. He didn't want to see it. He never wanted to see the damage he did. And he managed to kind of not see it. He was always insulated right up until he put a bullet into his head. But yeah, I compare Petri dish to him, of all of them. And a little bit of Stalin too, because he's going to kill 6 billion people. So that'll put him in a class all by himself. So that's one of my good rants where I just got off my rage. I hope you enjoyed it. I think it was a good one. And I'm going to leave it there. Enjoy the rest of history.